Hi, I'm Dr. Ahmad. I'm a postdoctoral research fellow at Stanford University, working in the Department of Surgical Oncology. So the field of immunology and cancer care is complex, and the things that we're working on are trying to marry together tumor response, chemotherapy, immunotherapy, all essentially to figure out how to make someone live longer. Our research is focused on a couple of areas. So I work at the crux of machine learning using a multitude of different techniques. I do work on projects, and this is where we had our most interesting finding, using single cell technologies in immune cells to understand really what these immune cells are in the tumor microenvironment and define them very clearly to help understand if there's something we can utilize as a therapy or a prognostic marker in cancer care, specifically in melanoma in this case. Here at the conference, I think what's exciting is you see a lot of young people just like learning about techniques, getting proficient at them, and learning the basic kind of concepts in immunology, because a good foundation is important, and that's what I had. And I think that's the important part about the community here, is that if we continue to do that, you're only going to build a better foundation for the future. But the idea is that we want to learn something new. We want to create something new. We want to understand more about science and biology, and that's why I'm here, right? To understand where the field is going. And that's what I'm excited about. I went to the president's talk yesterday evening, right? So that was kind of the opening discussion. And I think what's interesting about that is that how much the world can affect what the field decides to focus on. And I think she was discussing her work on long COVID, right? But these are globally changing events. And I think there's two things to think about that. One is like how much the world finally decided to work together, right? On solving a problem because it was affecting the entire planet, all of humanity essentially, right? And it changed the entire field, right? A lot of labs kind of changed everything that they did, right? In order to build more tests, right? To be able to screen for the disease, to run diagnostics, to do blood work, right? When I was at Stanford, almost all of the labs there completely stopped doing research and just focused on trying to build something so that like if we got blood from a patient, could we test it and figure out if the virus was there or not very quickly. So I had an economics degree. I was in business for several years, in medical technology actually. So I saw a bunch of new ideas. And then I decided I was going to go get a doctorate and get into research. And that's pretty hard because first of all, I was an old guy, right? Going back to grad school. And two, getting into basic science research is difficult coming from a basis of like not having any publications or real quote unquote research experience at all, right? So breaking into the field was going to be pretty difficult. So I think for anyone trying to like get into the field or understand research, one, it's super important to like be very clear about your interest and passion about it, right? And two, keep looking for good mentors. Because for me, the biggest difference was finding the right mentorship to like, teach you something, right? But then also give you the freedom to go out and do stuff. And I think the biggest and most important moments in my life, I think getting into research were, I think going to England, one, and really just being able to do stuff while I was a graduate student because they treat students very differently there. And so once they're like, hey, look, you're smart enough to get into medical school. Even though you're a graduate student, I'll tell you what chapters to read, and then we're just going to do some work, right? And they gave me a lot of freedom, right, to actually like work on tissues and do the immunofluorescence and look under the microscope on my own. After they gave me like a session of 10 or 15 minutes teaching me how, and that made a huge difference in not only confidence, but like my ability to actually do things and largely also I was successful because I did follow all the instructions, I took a lot of notes, and everything actually went extremely well, right? So they were happy because like all the results came out not as they expected, but we got the results that we were looking for based on the techniques, right? So I did make sure I did the right work, right? So make sure you're taking notes, you're doing the right stuff, but mentorship is super important.